This is Joe Malone. It is the Mason City Toros podcast. Joining me, the head coach of the Mason City Toros, Nick Bruneteau. Coach, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
So it was a Willmar weekend for the Toros. Friday night at home, Saturday night on the road, and it ended up being a split with both road teams winning this weekend. We'll start Friday night. It was a 4-1 loss. Kel Levis had the lone goal for the Toros. Your thoughts on the game on Friday, the performance on Friday?
Yeah, I thought we actually came out pretty good in the first 5 to 10 minutes, and then from that point, I thought we felt a little bit flat. I think a big part of that was how they were playing us. I think they did a very good job defensively. They always kept a good F3 forward, to limit our opportunities, limit our odd man chances. And like I told our group after the game, I didn't think we were bad, but I didn't think we were good. I thought it was a pretty average performance from our group amongst the 60 minutes. So it was obviously nice to have a good bounce back on Saturday, and Friday there was obviously some positives to take away from that game. But when you're in a result business, it obviously losing the game wasn't great.
Now, Colin Kirchhoff for Willmar had a hat trick in that game. Well, and granted, 2 of those goals coming in the third period. But when you have a player that is kind of taking over the game for the other team, do you try and strategize around them or their line? Is that something that you're like, oh, that guy's back out on the ice, he's hot tonight? How does that work for you from a coach standpoint?
I think it depends on the player. So Kirchhoff, honestly, we were not that too worried about him. We've played them now 5 times. He had one good game. I think a lot of those were from our mistakes. And I think when you play other teams and maybe if they had their full roster, we would have keyed in maybe on another guy who wasn't there, or a few other guys on other teams. But it changes a little bit. It's just more so for our group that we want to play hard on those guys and finish our checks. But I thought he was good for them on Friday, and he was extremely quiet on Saturday. So I think that's part of it, guys. Every once in a while, a guy's going to have a good game too.
Now, after the game on Friday night outside the locker room, we saw each other in passing. I was heading back up to the Alpha Media press box, and I just made the comment. I said, go get him tomorrow. And you very confidently said, we will. Like, you were like, we will. And you went out and you did that. Were you already starting to think about what needed to be done differently to pick up the win at Willmar right after the game on Friday?
Yeah, actually, we were. Myself and Marquise, we had a late night in the office trying to figure out what changes needed to be made and what things we could kind of add to help our effort on Saturday. And I think we felt pretty confident that, one, our group was going to respond better and play a much better 60-minute game, but 2, we could make a few tweaks and get more out of the group. And to be honest with you, it's not necessarily what we did. It's just how our guys played, and we knew that they were capable of having a better game than they did on Saturday, and it was great to see. Yeah,
7-2 win for the Toros at Willmar. 7 different players scoring, including Brendan Sloth. 10 seconds in, Sloth he was playing defense, correct? You didn't move him up to a forward line, because I didn't get a chance to see the game because I was at the Bulls game, but. Looking at the box score afterwards, I'm like, Sloth, 10 seconds in? How did that happen?
Yeah, we won the face-off right back to Sloth. He moved it to the left wing, which was Schmidt, and he had a good entry into the zone and kind of tried to throw a puck on net, and Sloth was, sniffing around there, drove the net and threw one in, and we just kind of fired from there, kept going, and it was a pretty good 60 minutes for us.
Yeah, now on paper it looks like it was basically all Toros for about 59 minutes and 52 seconds. Tyler Mislek for Willmar scored at 13:59, and again 8 seconds later at 14:07 in the second period. But other than that, it looked like the Toros were, you talk about that complete 60-minute game, almost there.
Yeah, I like you said, there was just an 8-second window where they had, their 2 goals, and one of them was a 2-on-1 rush where we got to make a little bit of a better read, and then on the other one, it's just a bad bounce, just deflected off Campion and just kind of a funky play that went in. But other than that, yeah, we were great. I thought all 60. All four lines were going, and it's funny how their two goals came right after our fight, and usually you see the reverse when you have a guy get in a fight and on your team, and he does well, and it was quiet in that building after that fight, and Cal Levis did a great job, and then the reverse kind of happened. So it's funny how that works sometimes. But no, it was a great game by everybody.
Now, for the month of December, the Toros are going to be road warriors. 7 games on the schedule, 6 of them on the road. How do you prepare for that? And does that change up your weekly schedule at all, depending on which road trip you're going on?
A little bit. There's obviously less time around the arena, but I think there's still a lot we can do. From the coaching side of things, it's a little different because you don't get the last change. So teams can match your lineup, you can't match theirs necessarily. So there's a little bit of difference, playing those games. But I think with our group, we've been good on the road so far this year, and I think a big part of that is how close these guys are. When you're on the road, it's just more time to spend together, and our group seems to do even better with that. So there's no issues. I'm actually very confident in our group on the road, just as we are at home.
Next up is going to be the Loons, and this will be matchup, I believe, 5 and 6 for the Toros and the Minnesota Loons. And the Toros have scored at least 8 goals in every game that you've played against the Loons this season. Are you looking for that same sort of offensive outburst to happen again this weekend?
Yeah, we are. We're hopeful, but it's one of those teams where we don't know who they're necessarily going to have. There seems to be a lot of movement with their lineup, in and out, just kind of piecing together bodies, especially being a new team. So I think we're not necessarily sure what we're gonna get from them, but that's why this week's more focused on what we're gonna do and more about our own game and our identity than anything else.
Now, one cool thing that happened with the Toros recently, Sota Iso guy getting called up to play with the North Iowa Bulls. Tell me what that's like as a coach. Were you part of that conversation with him, letting him know that, guess what, you're heading up to the NA?
Yeah, actually, Todd Sandin was a big part of that. He brought me in, and we talked about it. I felt it was a perfect opportunity for Sota to go up and play some games and see what he can do. And hopefully he's not done, and hopefully there's more Toros to come. And I think we have some guys knocking on that door, and they're not that far off, whether it be in a week or even next season. So it's good to see guys kind of get that opportunity, and for the rest of the group to see that, hey, that pathway is there, and you just got to work a little hard, and maybe that'll be me soon.
Now, with players that are kind of knocking on that doorstep for the NAHL, would it be to the Bulls, with the relationship that the Toros and the Bulls have, or would it be where maybe there's another NAHL team that has an opening for a player? Could a player go to a different one?
Well, that's a good question, and selfishly, I would love them to all come through, Mason City and go up to the Bulls, but that's not always the way. And our guys can go play for other North American League teams, and as a coach, you want your players to move. So if that means they're going to be playing in Alaska in the North American League or somewhere else, then that's just credence to doing our job. So we want to see these kids move up. We want to see them play at the next level, and whether that's here in North Iowa or somewhere else, that's also a great thing for them. So hopefully there will be more to come. Hopefully a lot of them will be here, but if it's another team in the North American League, we're good with that too, advancing these guys' careers.
Yeah, they're all feathers in the cap at that point in time.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, best of luck to you this weekend against the Loons, and always appreciative of your time and the ability to have these conversations here on the Toros podcast. Head coach Nick Bruneteau, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.